people of the world, and welcome to today's episode of Coffee Chats with Jax. I just published my second book called Finding Home right now, which is about my journey finding belonging and how to really figure out your identity and where you are supposed to be at in this world when you move out of your house growing up and you're thrown into the chaos of adulthood. In this video series, I'm kind of going through each chapter in that book in the ways that I looked for belonging. The chapter I'm on right now is about me trying to find my belonging in my body image. Growing up, I had a bit of a history with an eating disorder, which I didn't actually start talking about until right when I left Boston, till the top of 2018. I didn't acknowledge it. I thought it was just a part of my regular life. Started when I was young. I was asked to come over to the dinner table. I was felt around my stomach and my hips, and they kind of like pinched in all these places, and I was like, what are you doing? I was told that I looked like I had gained a little bit of weight. I was sitting in the hot tub in the neighbor's yard, and I was told that it looked like I'd gained some weight, so they just wanted to check. I got in these habits of being very, very, very particular with what I ate because I learned at that young of age that I'm supposed to look a certain way. So I did these little things like I spit out food and in napkins, or I just took little bites of things where I only ate half of this and saved the other half for later, which half of it, like half an apple, I didn't even want to eat that. And as time went on, I started working in the music world, and I kind of fell into this really toxic relationship with a guy that really wanted me to look a certain way. And so he used to make these comments about how I used to be thicker, but I'm not now, so whatever I'm doing, I should keep doing it. And he would also pull me in and feel around my stomach and just be like, oh, you're so skinny. Like, it was all focused on body image. I was very, very certain that that was what gave me my worth. And so I got in this habit of only eating things like a banana a day, or a banana and cereal and a Quest bar. Like, I had these rules, and it was all based on me trying to belong based on what I ate. And I avoided mirrors at all costs. I didn't want to see myself. I didn't want to know what I looked like because I was so afraid of that insecure, horrible feeling of looking myself in the mirror and hating what I saw. And so this hit its peak when I was in Boston. Pretty much all my insecurities were coming to the surface, and a big, big part of that was eating. When I was in Boston, I was kind of hitting my, I guess, lowest point of depression, and whenever I get really depressed, I tend not to eat as much. That kind of feeds off each other, because when you don't eat, you're not giving the body what it needs to go through the day, and so not eating really, really gets with your emotions and your hormones, and it messes stuff up, and a lot of the times that could make you really depressed, and that's what it did. And so I was in Boston, I wasn't eating like at all, and I don't really know why, because no one in Boston was telling me to look a certain way. That was more so a mental thing for me, and I felt so much like the outsider, so much like I didn't fit in any area when I was in Boston, that I guess my mind kind of jumped to where I would normally jump to in order to belong, in order to be loved, which was to focus on my body, because that's something I could control. So I'd work out as hard as I could, as often as I could, and eat as little as I could, which is so unhealthy, but it's what I did. One day we were on our way back from New York City to Boston. We hadn't eaten all day, and she was talking about how starving she was. She asked if we could stop at this place called Tate for dinner, and I said, sure. So we stopped there, and I look at the menu, and I remember that I'm not supposed to eat like everybody else. Like, they can eat, but I can't. I'm an exception. I can only eat bites of things. It was just the rules in my head, and it sounds crazy, but it's just how I thought. She ordered this meal, and she asked what I wanted, and I told her, I was like, no, actually I'm good. I'm totally good. She's like, are you sure? What have you eaten today? And I told her, oh, you know, just the typical Jackie G meal, the Quest bar and banana, and this was funny to me, or I tried to make it funny. And she saw through it. She kept pushing and pushing, and finally I was like, okay, I'll just share with you. Is that okay? And she was like, okay. So she orders this big fancy like French dish. She sits down, and she's just going to town on this thing. And I pick up a spoon, and I kind of move some of it around. And then I put the spoon back, and I start getting in this conversation. I'm trying to distract her because I know that she knows. She asked me a little bit later, she goes, Jackie, do you eat? And my response to her was like, of course I eat. I eat apples and bananas and Quest bars all day. And she's like, no, are you afraid to eat? And that's when I opened up for the first time at the end of those 3 months in Boston that I didn't eat because I thought that food was taking care of your body, and food meant love and nourishment, and I didn't deserve that, because that was a time in my life when I really hated who I was. And I was trying so hard to shape and mold myself into this other person that I thought would belong in Boston, or that I thought would belong in music world with this toxic relationship guy, or what I thought would belong in my family. I was constantly trying to shift who I was, and I didn't want to be face to face with myself in the mirror. I was afraid of myself. And it's like, I realized at the end of writing my book that if I don't feel at home in my own skin, if I'm not able to look at myself in the mirror, I am never gonna feel at home anywhere. And a lot of that has to do with my body. I wanna love myself, and I honestly can say that I'm at a place in my life right now that I have never loved myself as much as I do. And I'm not sure how that sounds. I'm not sure if that sounds, I don't know how that would sound. Basically, I'm done forcing my body to do things that it does not want to do. Like if I wake up and I don't want to work out, if I don't have the energy, if I actually just need to sleep, or if I just need to stretch, if I just need to do yoga, or if I just need a good meal, old Jackie would not have been okay with that. Old Jackie would have forced myself up no matter how crappy I felt, and I would have put myself in the gym and made myself work out for an hour or two, or go for a 5 to 8 mile run because I ate one more bite than I should have the night before. Old Jackie would not be okay with me eating a whole meal because whole meals are for other people, not for me. I was keeping myself locked in this cage, locked in this eating disorder controlled world. It's like this empire, and I wasn't talking about it. I wouldn't let anyone know what was going on because I was afraid of looking at it, for one, and I was afraid of fixing it, for two. Because if I fixed it, I was afraid I was gonna turn into a person that people didn't want around. At the end of the day, I just wanted to be loved. I just wanted to belong. And I was under the impression, the false impression, that to do that, I had to look this certain way. You guys, I'm eating real meals these days, and I have never felt better. I have never felt more confident, more myself. I have never felt this much me. It sounds small, but I think eating real meals has a lot to do with that. And I think me letting myself rest when I want to rest and stop running when I want to stop running, I think that has a lot to do with that too. And it was a process. Like, it was a really long process. Like, there were so many times of last year when I thought I was healed and I thought I was ready and done to move on to the other side. But it takes time, and you got to be patient with yourself. And the biggest thing that I learned throughout all of that was that the biggest healing point, the biggest turning factor in there where things started to get better, not quickly per se, but like stop getting worse and turn and at least just stay put. It's when I started to talk about it with other people. And that's really vulnerable because this used to be my least favorite thing in the world to talk about. Like, I didn't want anybody to know. No one was getting into this vulnerable piece of my life. But the second I did, second I learned that, one, I'm not alone. Lots of people struggle with this. Body image is a really big thing. And by me talking about it, I started to normalize it. It was really helpful. If you guys would like to purchase my book, Finding Home, and read more about this whole journey of finding belonging, because I think there's something in there for everybody, because we all go on this journey of finding belonging and finding identity. And if that resonates with you, then let's talk about it. Link to buy my book, Finding Home, in the description box below. Yeah, I love you guys. Thank you for watching these videos every week and caring about what I have to say. And this would be pointless without you. There'd just be me talking to myself. So I love you, and I will see you next time.